The cheesers are not going to like this video, but it's cool. And before I really get into the meat and potatoes of this video, I do want to say there's a large debate of if certain things in Xenoverse are exploits or meant to be there. And I want to say that I'm not even going to acknowledge that because I feel like that's a really useless debate. In my opinion, it feeds more into arguing instead of having actual discussion. And guys, I don't want to argue with anybody. I mean, the entire point of my channel is to have fun discourse, talking to you guys, giving my ideas, hearing your guys' ideas about stuff that we want to see, stuff that we care about. Like, it's about fun at the end of the day. And I never want what should be fun conversations to turn into a tug of war or a beam struggle. No, like, bro, us talking should be like a handshake, bro. That's all I want, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff needs to be chill, bro. Like, let's be chill. Let's be chill. Let's be cordial. Let's just have fun and give our opinions, guys. Now, before we get into the four dark horsemen of Xenoverse cheese, the key blast cancelers, the block spammers, the limit bursters, and the XY spammers, give me 1 second because there is something I have to talk about. I want to talk about the stamina break system right quick. Now, personally, I think stamina breaks are the greatest addition in Xenoverse 2. Like, back in Xenoverse 1, we couldn't even see our opponent's stamina bar, and now we can not only see it, break it, and use it as an opportunity for like some opening thread final attack to kill them. And I love that. I mean, working towards getting your opponent's stamina down, and once you have done that, you get rewarded with a gigantic attack opportunity? That's amazing. But sadly, a new cheese meta arose from this, and it is one of the most annoying cheese metas. And I am talking about the breaking your own stamina meta. And this is most commonly used by female Majins, but geez, you don't even have to be a female Majin. You can just break your own stamina and use super guard. And just like all cheese, this is just so disappointing because you can be outplaying your opponent and working hard to get their stamina down. They can just knock you away, use an evasive, break their own stamina, and boom, they get their entire stamina bar back. But the fix for this is so easy. All they need to do is make it to where if you fly and break your own stamina, or use a skill like how Ken that breaks your stamina, just make the CAC enter the heavy stamina break animation, which is literally them catching their breath. Bro, that fits perfectly. Like, that literally makes so much sense. Also, in Xenoverse 2, there are 2 stamina break recovery speeds. There's a fast one for whenever you get your stamina broken at high stamina, and there's also a low one for whenever you get broken at low stamina or your guard gets broken. Now, to make this even more balanced, if you break your own stamina, which again, you have full control over, you should have a even slower stamina break recovery speed. So you can really get punished for that, because we need people to stop doing this cheese meta, bro. Like, let's just take this out the game, bro. Also, I do want to say, this will be a part 1 to a 2-part series, where I'm going to tackle the stuff that's already in the game, so we can refine that. But on part 2, I'm going to talk about things they could add in Xenoverse 3. Now, we can finally get to what you guys have probably been waiting for. The 4 horsemen of Xenoverse cheese, alright? Now we're going to start out with a easy one to fix, block spamming. And this was already a problem in early Xenoverse 2, but they actually buffed it to make it faster. And I don't know why they would ever do that. It's like they're trolling us, like why would you make it worse? But okay, let's fix it. Now, my first and favorite idea on how they can fix block spamming is literally just making the frame data of you releasing your guard take longer. So instead of you block spamming this fast, maybe you only can block spam this fast. And this is going to be way better because it actually makes it to where you can get punished for just throwing your guard out. So let's say you vanish behind somebody, they go for a charged back hit, and instead of just block spamming the way you usually could, you have to do it in this more slower way so you can get punished for it. But if your character does get a successful perfect block, then you can release your guard at a really fast speed. I think we should make perfect blocking actually a skill and not just an exploit of just spamming your button really fast, because I hate stuff like that. And when it comes to a lot of Xenoverse cheese, I can't even be that mad at the fan base because the developers are rewarding you for playing like this. Like, you literally get rewarded for having this type of playing style. So like, yeah, people are gonna play like this. So this is really all on the developers. And a second way to nerf block spamming is to literally do what they did in God of War, where if you spam your block button, the game will not allow you to get a parry. So you can keep doing the block spamming, but the game will not register any of those consecutive blocks as available to get parries or to get perfect blocks. So you're gonna have to like stop guarding for a second and then try to get a perfectly timed guard on the first try. And that's also a really fair way to balance the perfect block system. Now, personally, I like option number 1 way better because I am trying to punish you guys for putting that guard up, okay? The block spam cheese is dead. I'm gonna start doing y'all how Nappa did Tien. Tien was trying to do the block spam cheese, but he didn't know about the ROM Hatcher block spam pack nodes. He got that arm taken off. A guard break, alright? I'm gonna do you guys like that every single match. Why do I sound like teachers when you have a bad sub review? In my 20 years of teaching, I have never had a sub report this bad. Let me get out with the video. I'm tripping. Now, number 3, Limit Burst. And this is personally my least favorite addition to Xenoverse 2. And I'm going to be real with you. If you want my honest opinion on Limit Burst,
nuke the whole generation. If it were up to me, I would drop an atomic bomb on the whole generation.
Now, having some Naruto Storm Awakening mode for a Dragon Ball game is not something new. I mean, Raging Blast 2, we had the amazing Raging Soul mode. In Dragon Ball Kakarot, we had the really cool Surge mode. And also in Dragon Ball FighterZ, we have the Sparking mode, which is definitely the inspiration for Limit Burst. And in Dragon Ball FighterZ, Sparking is really strong. I mean, you get a big attack boost, you get to heal all your blue health, it changes the way your snapback works, so Sparking is very, very good. But it's not broken. And one of the reasons why it's not broken is because you can't use it while you're getting comboed, because that is so incredibly strong that most players, especially high skill players, would only save it for that specific circumstance, because that is so crazy. Like a combo break, dude, that's crazy. But in Xenoverse 2, you can not only use your Limit Burst while you're getting comboed, but you can use it after you've been stamina broken. Who thought that was a good idea? Who thought that was a good idea? Get him out the kitchen! And guess what? Most people only use their Limit Burst as a way to get out of those stamina break situations. And in a game like Xenoverse, where the main point is to get your opponent's stamina low so that you can break their stamina and get a gigantic damage opportunity, to have a dedicated, nah, you, I want to get my stamina back button is such a spit in the face and also just terrible game design. Why would you let that be a thing? And also implement a super armor Limit Burst, which is so cheesy that some players literally just won't fight and it breaks the entire flow of battle. Because if you fight with super armor, that's cheesy and lame. But because we can't fight, you're pretty much getting your entire stamina bar back scot-free. And in a lot of cases, the guy who broke the opponent's stamina doesn't even get to have their full stamina bar back. Imagine implementing a game mechanic so bad that your player base has to have an honor system around it. That is a clear sign of bad game design. In FighterZ, no one's gonna shame you for using Sparking or anything like that, alright? But in Xenoverse 2, to have so many things that people do that you can get shamed for just shows you how unbalanced and poorly made some of these mechanics are. And I know that Limit Burst does give you actual things like health or attack or auto guard, but people don't care about that. They're mainly just trying to get a cheap way to get out of stamina breaks, and that is a big problem. So the easiest way to fix the Limit Burst problem is to just make it to where you cannot use it while you're getting comboed, and especially while your stamina is broken. That is the easiest way to just fix it. But I want to go a step further, because as I said earlier,
nuke the whole generation.
The Limit Burst system is just poorly designed and above else, boring and lame. There's nothing hype about using Limit Burst, and I think that's a really big problem. So I'm gonna give my opinions. First off, and this is really shallow, but I care about it. Let us change that ugly Limit Burst pose. It is so lame looking. In Dragon Ball FighterZ, all the sparking poses are references to something they did in the show, and it's really cool. Now, with Limit Burst, do the exact same thing, and also let our CACs choose our sparking pose, or I guess our Limit Burst pose. I also think we should expand on the way that Limit Burst buffs your character. Things like attack up, health regen, those are cool, but let's tone those down. Similar to Raging Soul in Dragon Ball Raging Blast 2, the main function of Limit Burst could be the advanced combo options it gives your character. Imagine not just learning your character's combos, but also their crazy Limit Burst combos. That would be really fun in my opinion. You could also use it to advance other forms of gameplay, like maybe after a grab you get a confirmed combo. And one of the funner things I think they could do with Limit Burst is instead of just buffing the damage of certain attacks, what if they actually advance them? An example being, if you have a Spirit Bomb Super Soul, maybe it turns the Super Spirit Bomb into the Universal Spirit Bomb. In this hypothetical limit burst scenario, what are some moves that you want to see being buffed? And again, you can do a whole lot more with limit bursts, but I'm just naming some things because I really want them to get creative and not just make it a really shitty get out of jail free card that punishes you for outplaying your opponent. And for the next Dark Horseman of Xenoverse Cheese, we have Ki Blast Stunning and Canceling. And again guys, I want to reiterate, the argument is not if something was intentional or not intentional by the developers. Simply, if something is poorly designed, it should be balanced or taken out the game. The biggest example of this is OG Aura Slide. It had crazy iframes, did a bunch of damage. I mean, that move was insane. And it was intentionally designed to be that way. Just because something is intentional does not mean it is good. It can still be bad. And the Ki Blast canceling from a game design perspective is awful. It allows you to constantly cancel the end lag of your animations in order to move into your iframe dash. And on top of that, it takes no resource to do this. You can infinitely do this. And even worse, in my opinion, it promotes a timid, cowardly playing style just like guard mashing. Now, if you're a big Xeno head and you care about Ki Blast canceling whether you like it or dislike it, I'm sure you've seen this video by Yo Cruz, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I saw this video when it first came out, and after I watched it, I was heated. I was like, how dare you? How dare you defend the cheese? You milkman, you dairy product worker. Nah, but all jokes aside, shout out to bro. The video itself is very well edited, and this video has like the best arguments for Ki Blast canceling. Like whenever I see someone who argues that Ki Blast canceling isn't bad, they either use these arguments or flat out just show me this video. So I just want to go through some of these points and explain why from a game design perspective, Ki Blast canceling is really bad and poorly designed. Point number one is that because every character can Ki Blast cancel, that makes it not a cheap option. If something is badly designed or broken, the fact that every character can use it doesn't just automatically negate it being bad. That's like saying because every CAC could use Aura Slide before it got nerfed, Aura Slide wasn't broken. That's like saying the Dragon Flash cheese with Golo Gum, that wasn't bad because every CAC could do that. And the creator himself agrees that Don't Go All Out is very cheesy, but every CAC can use Don't Go All Out. So if we use the logic that accessibility makes something not cheesy, then Don't Go All Out is also not cheesy because any CAC can use it. And of course we could go on and on about a lot of really badly designed, cheap things that characters can do, but I'm sure we all understand that just because a lot of characters can do something that's really bad, doesn't mean that bad thing just becomes alright. And then he compares Ki Blast canceling to snapping in Dragon Ball FighterZ as a get out of jail, avoiding damage option. But what's strange about this comparison is that unlike Ki Blast canceling, in FighterZ, when you snap, it takes up a resource, an important resource, it takes up your bar. And unlike Ki Blast canceling, which is a way to immediately go into your iframe dash, the snapback in FighterZ was intentionally designed to be punishable. If you just throw it out, you can get hit with a down heavy, another type of anti-air, a level 3, like there are multiple ways to just punish that. And the only way to guarantee your safety after using a snapback in FighterZ is to be in your sparking mode, which is a limited time thing. You can't immediately block and be safe after a snap 99% of the time. And then it said that Ki canceling is simply a movement option / neutral reset, which is not like technically wrong at all, but it's the fact that it is such a broken mechanic in the game that's the problem. Even the comparison of the FighterZ snapback automatically failed on multiple levels because it takes a resource. It's very punishable. You don't want to just throw out your snapback, but with Ki Blast canceling, it's the opposite. You're actually rewarded for doing it. Just throw out a Ki Blast cancel. At worst, you still get to cancel your animation and be safe, and at best, you can stun your opponent for free. Now, if only Xenoverse 2 had a resource system we could use to avoid damage. Except we do. We already have the stamina bar system. The stamina bar system is what we use for avoiding damage, and ironically, again, you can actually punish it because, or you can't anymore, which we're going to talk about that. But before, if you correctly predicted when someone would snap, you could back hit them and punish them. So it was a balanced system. In my own opinion, I feel like comparing Ki Blast canceling to the snapback mechanic in FighterZ does nothing but show how poorly designed Ki Blast canceling is. Now, Dragon Ball FighterZ does have a defensive option that does not take up a resource, it's the Reflect. But because it's well designed, the Reflect has balance. It doesn't take up a resource, but if you throw it out, there's an end lag to it to where you can get punished for using it. Because if there was not an end lag, it would be way too strong and people would just spam it the entire time. The same thing with snapbacks. If snapbacks didn't take a resource, bro, you would just spam that the entire time. Kinda like how people just spam key blast canceling the entire time. And it's funny because snapbacks take a resource. And if you miss the reflect, your opponent has a chance to punish you. While key blast canceling takes no resource and is also used to continuously avoid punish windows. Another point is that you can just use a counter move on key stunning, but that literally makes no sense because you key blast cancel to get into your dash, which is iframes. So if you do activate their counter, it doesn't matter because you're already avoiding the attack anyway. You're already in your iframes. But something else that really isn't talked about that much is the fact that because most players are going to try to key stun you before attacking you regularly, that makes all physical counters useless because you're getting key stunned before they even punch you. So key stunning really negates physical and key blast counters. From a game design perspective, it is just awful. It's awful, it's overpowered, like come on guys. Let's be honest. But again, those are my opinions. Give me your opinions too, you know? And the last point as to why key blast canceling isn't that bad, and this is an argument that's used by most people, and it is, in my opinion, this is like the worst argument ever. Like this is the worst. It is that key blast canceling isn't cheesy because Dragon Ball Xenoverse has a bunch of other cheesy things like backflip, super after image, things like that. And whenever I hear that, I always think of like the same analogy. Imagine if you were a cop and you were arresting a criminal that got caught like stealing something, right? And he said, hey, why are you arresting me? That guy over there, he murdered somebody. My crime isn't a crime. I didn't do anything wrong. Now, do you think that you would be like, oh, you're right, bro, let me let you free? No, that would not be your reaction. You would tell that dumbass nigga that you're gonna arrest that other guy too. You both are going to jail. Saying because there are multiple bad things that one thing isn't bad makes zero sense. That is like, that doesn't make any sense. Dude, let's just nerf all the bad stuff. Why are we being worried about this? Now, I am going to make a separate video on nerfing things like backflip and a bunch of other OP moves like that because those things need to be nerfed and nerfing them isn't even that hard. But I do want to say, when it comes to nerfing skills like backflip, I don't want to just make the skill useless. I'm going to like talk about the functions they could give it and how it should be. So I'm going to make that another video. But when it comes to key blast canceling, I do have to admit one thing. There are some arguments for it that actually work. I do think that Xenoverse needs another defensive option, but in part 2, I am going to talk about the new mechanics, especially the defensive mechanics I think they should add to Xenoverse 3 to fix that stuff. And Key Blast and Charged Key Blast are both really bad. Like with the exception of Bomb Key Blast and Paralysis, like they're really, really bad. Xenoverse, like we need to fix that. This video will be mostly about the 4 Dark Horsemen, and the next video will be on how they can implement new mechanics, but I'm gonna have to make a third one probably on just the stuff that I missed. So like expect me to talk about how they can make Key Blast useful because I do think that Key Blasts do need a buff. That is completely correct. That is a great opinion. And I'll also tackle moves like Dodon Ray, Handy Cannon, those types of moves because those moves also need to be nerfed, okay? But not in the same way that Key Blast cancels do, so don't worry. I'm not gonna like make those moves useless. I'm gonna make those moves still very good. But I've yapped about why Key Blast canceling is in fact bad. Now I can finally tell you how they can actually just nerf it to where it won't be cancerous anymore. And it's really simple. Just make it to where you cannot cancel your attacks with it anymore. And to help everyone understand, I'm going to give you an in-game visual on how this works. When you use Gigantic Rage on Broly or pretty much any character, you can't use it in a combo. The game won't let you do it. And you can see it's grayed out before the other moves because it's coded to where you cannot cancel the move into combos. But with KO, her version is actually comboable. Literally just do the exact same thing with Key Blast. Key Blast will no longer be able to be canceled into combos. And make it to where you cannot immediately dash after firing a Key Blast. And boom, it's over. That's literally how easy it is. The dragon is dead. We can all go home and enjoy our Xenoverse game now. And the final horseman of Xenoverse cheese is XY canceling. And that will be the last thing I'm going to cover in this video. And pretty much, you know how when you go Super Saiyan God, you can no longer XY cancel? Just do that to all the characters. Like literally what you did for Super Saiyan God to where people can no longer XY cancel for some reason. Just do that for everybody and it's over. That is pretty much the end of the video. I am definitely going to have to start working on that second video on the stuff they need to add because I know I said a lot of, oh, take away this, take away that, but I think it's really important to add actual balance mechanics to complete the gameplay and make everything run smoothly. Please stay tuned for my next video. I'm sorry that this video was so long. I yap a lot, but I hope you guys understand my points. Hey, Keep doing your best. I'm gonna keep doing my best too. I will catch you guys later. God bless.